Hey guys, this is DeSHANTA B, and I'm here today to share with you a full meal cooked in 3 different crock pots. So I'm going to go kind of fast so that this video is not that long. On the menu will be brown sugar bourbon, chicken thighs, black beans, and yellow rice. I'm going to break each one down in 3 separate parts so that I will include the ingredients and the preparation. So I'm getting ready to start with the chicken. I have 2 packages of chicken thighs. They're about 4 in each. You will also need some white vinegar. If you do not have vinegar to clean the chicken, you can use salt and or lemons. You will need some aluminum foil, sweet paprika. If you don't have sweet paprika, you can use regular paprika, but you just won't have the same flavor. Honey, or as I call my play honey, because I do not have the honey that I normally use on hand, but this will work fine. Some pow pow sauce, which is like a teriyaki sauce. Olive oil. Black pepper, and a couple packages of the brown sugar bourbon marinade mix. You will also need a cutting board, a knife, and a large bowl. So okay guys, don't forget your crock pot. So let's get started. I have opened up the chicken thighs and placed them into a bowl in the sink. What I'm going to attempt to do now, guys, is I'm using some kitchen shears. I'm going to cut away some of this fat and gristle that's on the chicken thighs, and I'm also going to scrape off as much of this fat without tearing the skin that I can. If you don't want to use the skin, please feel free to remove it, but that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to place the chicken thighs back into the bowl, add some cooler cold water, followed by a half a cup to a cup of white vinegar. Please feel free to use whatever parts of the chicken that you like. Okay, moving on. Okay guys, I'm going to continue cleaning the rest of the chicken thighs. You're not going to be able to remove 100% of the gristle and the fat, but some is better than none. Okay, moving on. I have finally finished cleaning and removing as much fat and trimming the gook off of the chicken. Like I said, you're not going to get it all off 100%, but at least you know that you've done and removed the majority of it. I am now going to cover this chicken with cool or cold water and then add the vinegar. Guys, I just want you to see how much of the gristle and fat was removed from these chicken thighs. So although once again you can't get it all, it pays to try to get as much as you can. One last thing, guys, please make sure to sanitize your work area, sanitize whatever knives and scissors that you use for cross-contamination purposes and food poisoning purposes as well. Okay, moving on. Guys, now is the time to preheat your crock pot. If you're going to be cooking on a low setting, I would set it for 4 to 5 hours on a low setting and 2 to 3 hours on a high setting. So just go ahead and preheat your crock pot, guys. So once these are clean, we're going to season them and then put them inside of the crock pot to start cooking. Okay, moving on. This chicken has been soaking for about 25 minutes. I am now going to drain the water, rinse it off several times in cool or cold water, then pat it dry with paper towels. Place the chicken into a clean bowl. Then I'm also going to wash and sanitize my sink and everything that I use in reference to the raw meat. Okay, let's go. I'm going to continue to dry off the chicken. But guys, I just wanted you to see what a little bit of cleaning and soaking and how clean the chicken looks. And one last note, your chicken will not taste like vinegar. Moving on. I have placed the chicken into a clean bowl. I am now going to season the chicken with black pepper, sweet paprika, a little bit of olive oil, and the brown sugar bourbon seasoning. I will then mix all of the seasonings well into the chicken. If you like, you can do this step the night before and allow the chicken to marinate overnight, or you can do this step and allow the chicken to marinate up to 6 hours. But because I'm running late, I'm just going to season it and then move on to the next step. Let's go. Okay guys, you already know what I'm about to say. I'm going to add a little bit more seasoning. This step is purely optional. If you are satisfied with the 1 to 3 teaspoons ratio, that's fine. But because this is going in a crock pot, I'm going to add more seasoning. Okay guys, moving on. What I've done guys is I've laid out layers of the aluminum foil. If you are using what I call the thin or regular aluminum foil, you may need 3 to 4 pieces. If you're using the heavy duty, you probably will only need 2. I'm going to place some of the chicken pieces into this foil and wrap it up so that I can place it into the crock pot. I'm probably going to use 2 bundles. So now I'm just going to wrap up the chicken. Several times into the foil. This is to ensure that none of the juices escape, and also to maintain the heat. Okay guys, this is how I wrap the chicken, or even if I'm cooking another type of meat, to place in my crock pot. And I think I just might use this 1 packet. So let's just put this into the crock pot so that we can get this chicken done. Be right back. Okay guys, I am now going to add a cup of water to the bottom of my preheated crock pot. I ended up wrapping all of the chicken in the little packets, and I'm going to place this, even if I have to squeeze it, into the crock pot. You know what guys, let me adjust this for a minute. Hold on, I'll be right back. Real cooking guys in a real kitchen. Hold on. Guys, I adjusted the packets with the chicken so they can fit inside of this crock pot. I really should have used a bigger one, but I'm going to place this in here. Place the other one on top. I'm going to take a smaller piece of foil and cover the crock pot. This is my way of ensuring that none of the heat escapes. Place the top on. It's set for 4 hours. Now we can move on to the rice and the beans. Okay guys, we have finally put the chicken into the crock pot, and now we're moving on to the yellow rice. For those of you who may say, well, why don't you just put the rice in a rice cooker or just cook the rice on the stove? You are absolutely correct with those options. However, I just wanted you guys to know that just about anything that you can cook on the stove or in the oven, you can also cook with proper preparation in a crock pot. So for the yellow rice, I'm using, I think it's Vigo yellow rice. is a seasoned Spanish rice recipe. I also have the Vigo flavoring and coloring seasoning packet, olive oil. I will be adding some sofrito towards the end of the cooking process, and I'm going to add a little bit of butter. You can use butter, softened butter, or you can use the butter spray, but I'm just going to use this butter to line the crock pot. Okay, let's get started. Guys, this step is optional. I just know from using crock pots for so many years that it doesn't hurt to coat the bottom and the sides of the crock pot. Just for your own knowledge, guys, the heating coil is not around the sides of the crock pot, it's in the bottom. So things on the bottom tend to stick quicker than on the sides. Okay, moving on. Normally I would wash my rice, but due to the fact that this is a seasoned rice, I'm just going to follow the instructions. And also, guys, you will also need water. I'm going to add about 1 to 2 teaspoons of olive oil. Guys, this seasoning right here, the Vigo flavor and coloring, is additional, is optional. I just know sometimes when you use just the yellow packet itself of rice, it doesn't have enough flavor. So I like to add additional flavoring and coloring. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stir this together. Smooth it out on the bottom. And now I am just going to add I'm adding 2.5 cups of water. The package says 2, but due to the fact that this is long cooking, I added a little bit more. Give it another quick stir to make sure all of the rice is in the water. Look how pretty that is, guys. And just like with the chicken, through this crock pot, I will be adding a piece of foil. Just at the top. Set it for 2 to 3 hours. And moving on to the beans. Okay guys, we're now up to the last crock pot, and before you ask, yes, I do have a lot of crock pots. I have about 10 to 12 in this house, and I'm quite sure if I try to bring another one in here, I'll be sitting on the curb surrounded by all my crock pots. But guys, I do want to get the new one that's a Wi-Fi crock pot. So y'all just leave y'all addresses down under the description box. So if I get put out with my pots, I can come to your house. I promise you, I'll cook for you. I'll cook for you, okay? But moving on, I have my crock pot for the beans. For this recipe, you will need 1 to 2 cans of black beans of your choice, onion powder, chili powder, cumin, fresh or dried thyme, minced garlic. Okay, it doesn't want to focus today. All right. 1 or 2 bay leaves, pinto bean seasoning, a little bit of butter, and I've taken the liberty of mincing in small pieces the sweet peppers and the red onions to save on some time. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open the can of black beans and just basically dump everything into the crock pot. Be right back. Now guys, I'm basically just going to dump everything into this crock pot, mix it, and put a piece of foil, then the top on. Set the beans for 2 to 3 hours on low and 1 hour to 2 hours maybe on high. I would just stick with 1 hour to see how the consistency of the beans are, and you may need a little bit more time. I don't know if I told you guys, I'm going to put a little bit of honey, and I'm out of baking soda. I normally put half a teaspoon of baking soda into any beans, you know, because you know what beans can do to some folks. All right, let's get started. I'm going to add a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons of each seasoning, and you can go based on your personal preference and taste. Now I'm going to stir all of the ingredients until well combined. Guys, you can taste and adjust the seasonings. Remember, if you add too much, you cannot take away, but you can always adjust the seasonings as your food continues to cook. This smells so good already, guys. So I'm just going to put the bay leaf on top. Add a piece of foil. Place the top on. Because I'm going to be cooking this on low, I'm going to set the crock pot to 2 to 3 hours. And all of the preparation work is done, guys. Okay, moving on. Okay guys, I have my beans. I gave them a taste and they taste great. The only thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to allow this to cook for like another hour. I like the bean sauce or bean juice or bean gravy, whatever you want to call it, to be a little thicker, so that when I place my beans over my rice, it's not running through the rice. So what I'm going to do is, hold on a second guys, I think my lens is dirty. Hold on. Okay, that's a little better. As I was saying was, I like the bean juice or gravy or broth to be a little thicker. So what I tend to do is I smash some of the beans alongside of the pot, or you can smash them in a bowl, however you want to do it if you tend to do that, just to help thicken the sauce. So that's what I'm getting ready to do. I'm just going to take some beans, smash them, I don't want to add anything else to it like cornstarch or anything like that, because that will change the flavor a little bit of the beans, and right now they taste absolutely wonderful. So I think that's enough. Hopefully that's enough to thicken the broth, but this is what the beans are looking like right now, guys. You have the mixed peppers in there, red onion. Looks really, really good, guys. Okay, so I'm going to put this back on and let it cook for about another hour, and then we can check on the chicken. Moving along. Okay guys, the last thing on the agenda to do to complete this meal is to make the glaze for the chicken. Disclaimer, y'all stop talking about my pots, okay? Guys, my pots are clean. It's just that this water here is hard. It has no water softener, so it turns on my pots funny colors, and it makes my hands look like I'm 900 years old. But trust and believe, the pots are clean, and no, my hands should not be looking this old for my age. So what we're gonna add to this pot is about a cup of the teriyaki pow pow. Almost a cup. Gonna add that to the pot. Maybe just a little bit more. Yeah. Then I'm going to add a package of the Grill Mates Brown Sugar Bourbon Marinade Mix. And I'm going to add my Play honey. So now I'm going to stir all of this together. And this will be the glaze to put on the chicken once it has finished cooking in the crock pot. Now guys, if you want to add the glaze, then put your chicken into the broiler for 5 to 7 minutes or 5 to 8 minutes. Please feel free, but I'm just going to leave my chicken the way that it comes out of the crock pot and just brush this glaze on. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of water to this. And I'm going to let this cook on low until it reduces to a thick, syrupy glaze. So this will probably cook for a good 15 minutes, more or less, depending upon how long it takes for it to come together. But don't take your eyes off of it, guys. Just keep your eyes on it, keep stirring it, because you don't want it to scorch. Okay, moving on. It's been about 2 hours and maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and the rice is done. This particular crock pot doesn't have a timer on it, so I missed the part of when I wanted to put the sofrito, but I'm just going to add a little bit to it now. So this is the rice, guys. So what I'm going to do is add about 2 to 3 regular spoonsful of sofrito. Two should be good. I'm going to add a little bit of butter. And I chopped up a green onion that I figured might be nice. So I'm going to mix this all together. Ooh, this is hot. So now I'm just going to take a fork and flake it. Next time I make this rice, I have to use a crock pot that has a timer. But it still smells so good, guys. I'm going to add a little bit of parsley just for decoration. And a sprinkle of the sweet paprika. And my yellow crock pot rice is done, guys. Okay, moving on. Let's go check the beans. Okay, guys, I am finally done. Here is the crock pot yellow rice. I took everything out of the crock pot for the sake of space, guys. Here are the crock pot black beans. I'm trying to get rid of my green onions, so I just threw green onions on top, guys. And this is the glaze that I reduced, that I am about to pour on top of the bourbon chicken that I cooked in the crock pot. So just hold on, guys. I don't have enough space. Be right back. Here is the chicken, guys, that I cooked in the crock pot. Guys, this chicken is so tender that it is falling apart. I had to carefully remove it from the foil. But what I learned from this particular recipe is that when I have these tiny chicken thighs, to make sure to cut the cooking time down. So what I'm about to do now, guys, is pour the glaze over this bourbon chicken. So hold on. See how the glaze thickened, guys, when you let it cook down and reduce. So I'm just going to take my basting brush and just base all of this glaze over this chicken. This looks so good, guys. I wish that you could smell it. This is the teriyaki pow pow sauce mixed with the brown sugar bourbon sauce marinade mix. I added a little honey and let it cook down. So now all this has to do is set on the chicken, and we are finally done. I'm just going to plate this up, and this cooking process is finally over. And here you have it, guys. The Crockpot brown sugar bourbon chicken thighs. I'll be back for the final time. And here you have it, guys. The yellow rice, seasoned, the black beans, seasoned, and the Crockpot brown sugar bourbon chicken thighs. Guys, it's a lot of preparation, but it's definitely worth all of the work. And I thank you if you made it to the end of the video, and I hope that you give this recipe a try so you know what time it is. Get your crock pots out and give this recipe a try. Don't be afraid to use your crock pots, and stop playing. And until the next video, bye guys. Here we go. Some of them beans. Look at that, look at that. Yup. For real. Yup. Oh, suki. Oh, these taste so good. That rice. I thought I overcooked it, but no ma'am, no sir. Hold on. Hold on. Excuse me. Okay. Let's get into this. Look, look. Look at that. Oh, falling apart. Okay, come on now. Come on. I gotta go, y'all. I gotta go pray. This is so good. You guys are missing out if you don't try this recipe. Get them crock pots out. Try this. Excuse me. Okay. Wow. 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 Okay. Bye, guys. Got to be more careful.